at this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback, the way he's playing right now, in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Well, maybe that Chiefs dynasty is actually crumbling. And listen, I don't blame you for that, but you would be wrong. Here's what actually happened in that game last night. See, the Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars pretty much up and down that field. They outgained them, Donnie. You ready by this? By over 150 yards of offense.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Question, where's the $100,000 going? Like, if I'm going to give it to Amari DiMercato as an apology? It does give us a little bit of insight, though, into that moment. Like, I wondered what Gannon had said to DiMercato there. It obviously did, cost Arizona a football game in a division that they cannot afford. But that is an interesting one.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Nice. I didn't check my account. And welcome in. It is in-game live game day and a fabulous football Friday. Little college football going on. We got preview the NFL. We got NBA. We got college basketball with a monster upset perhaps in the making. Or is it? NBA, NHL, you name it. We have it over the next 2 glorious hours right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. Yours truly, Scott Wetzel, along with Gabe Morency, as we hopefully make a couple of shekels along the way. What's going on, Gabe? Game time it is. What's betting you off tonight?
A lot of things are betting me off tonight. We got another massive weekend of action coming up. But what's really upsetting me tonight is the National Basketball Association, the NBA. I see they're announcing they're going to create a new league in Europe starting like next year. How about you worry about your own league here in North America? Like, the product sucks as it is now, and you're worried about, a new European league. And I don't really know about this NBA Cup stuff and it's an NBA Cup game compared to a regular season game. Oh boy, the NBA Cup. But I can tell it's an NBA Cup game because they have these stupid courts. And, dude, I'm watching a Raptor Hawk game. I can't even see the basketball. Like, the court is some sort of weird pinkish red. The ball is blending into it. You can't see anything. The players' jerseys are blending into the court. Like, some of these courts, man, are just whacked out. Like, seriously. Like, you can't even see the damn ball. Like, I don't know how the NBA screws everything up as much as they do, but they really do. So that's what's betting me off so far. I can't follow the damn game. I can't see the ball.
That's why I don't bet Oregon Duck basketball games, Gabe. I won't do it. I don't get.
I like their court.
Oh my goodness! You got to be kidding me.
I like that one with the trees and I like that.
2 minutes. I refuse to bet him. I just won't.
Really, the court.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, watch some of these NBA games. Flick around and look at some of these courts where it's like, whoa, bro. Like, you guys went like, listen, I'm a flashy dude, man. I'm all about flash. You know what I mean? But there's a difference between flash and just taking 800 cans of red paint and pouring it on the court.
Right.
It's like, whoa, man. Like I'm literally blinded and the ball blends in. Look at there's one tonight. Who is it? It's pitch black. The court is just black. it looks cool, but it's not easy to watch. Like once it starts, but yeah, that's what's betting me off. Stupid NBA courts. Never mind my bets.
Yeah, forget about the bets, right? All right, speaking of bets, opening pickoff time. I actually got some college football that is yet to start. Usually Gabe and I come out at 8 o'clock, and these games have been starting at 7 or 7:30. These games tonight, the three main ones start at now, 8 o'clock, 8:05 or later. So with that, let me grab the Houston Cougars laying 1.5 at Central Florida. Don't like laying points on the road. Houston coming off just a god-awful performance, losing at home to West Virginia last week, really ruining their season, but mathematically still alive. I think they rallied the troops tonight. I appreciate the team. It's got good wins. They won at Arizona State this year, which nobody does, and Houston was able to do it. I think they respond. Give me Houston laying the 1.5.
I agree. My first pick will be the Houston Cougars tonight. Baffling loss last week. We thought, all right, they'll come back. Right? They spotted West Virginia an early lead, and they just couldn't overcome it. They end up losing to West Virginia Mountaineers. We're still talking about a 7-2 football team that's 6-3 against the spread. And you see often these college teams, they're able to shake off a loss, right? They really are. I know the fan base isn't, right? And the people who bet on the game the week before isn't, but the players are. We've seen it with Memphis. We've seen it with South Florida, where it's like, damn, man, like they just wasted a big opportunity. And they get back on track. It's still too early to panic. Their season isn't over yet. There's a lot of football left to be played. They just got to win out right now if you're the Houston Cougars. I'm not saying the Cougars are a great football team, guys, right? They've dodged a lot of bullets this year, but this is a mediocre UCF team. The best thing about UCF is their fan base. Like, it really is a great party school, and it's a big, the most alumni in the entire state, right? And It's a fun stadium and stuff, but the team just isn't very good this year. I know they made a quarterback change, but they're 4-4 straight up, 4-4 ATS. Give me the Houston Cougars to win the football game.
All right. The next one for me is going to be Minnesota NBA laying 12.5 against the Utah Jazz. I think I mentioned this the other day. It's not easy betting the NBA. All these lines are around 10 points, and who wants to do it? But if you want to bet the NBA, for the most part, that's what you're going to have to do when you want to capitalize and go against these bad teams like Utah is. Minnesota 13-6 against the spread. Their last 19 against the Jazz. This is the first of a home and home. Minnesota gets the first one, then obviously Utah gets the second one. End of a long 5-game road trip for the Jazz as well. Hasn't worked out. They're bad. They're 3-5. It's probably, 3 wins is halfway decent for them, considering they probably weren't expected to get more than literally 20 all season long. But give me Minnesota. Friday night, place should be rocking, laying 12.5.
Bounce house. That's what I was looking for before. And I was going to say they got the House of Pain or whatever, all the different names. But, like I said, that was just driving me crazy. Central Florida, good party school. But with that being stated, we like Houston. And I think this game goes over. It's kind of strange. The Houston Cougars have been undervalued all year by the odds maker. I don't know, like undervalued. They don't respect them, right? They don't think they're very good. I was breaking down some numbers today from the data, and basically they were saying, UCF's actually a better team. Throw off the record. No, they're not. This is where your data sucks. Like analytics, what's the first 4 letters of analytics? Figure it out. So It's like, okay, you think the 4-4 team is better than the 7-2 team that just goes on the road and wins games against teams? The Cougars aren't perfect, but the other thing is, Scott, they score more than people realize. You get low totals in Houston Cougar games often, and therefore they're 6-3 to the over. So if you've been betting Houston this year every week and the over, you're 12-6 on the season, guys. They're 6-3 ATS and 6-3 to the over. I'm not going to fight it tonight. I don't think very much of UCF. Give me Houston to win, as me and Scott stated, and give me the over 47.5 in this football game.
All right, third one for me. I'm going to grab Miami laying 7.5 against Charlotte. We have a lot of different systems. One of those is the coaches fired system, Gabe, and it's based on the premise that the players really like the coach, or they really hated the coach and they're happy he's gone. But they get up for it and they play well the next game because they feel disappointed. Basically, the coach is fired, right? So we don't have that tonight in this game. But I don't know if you saw this story or not. Miami was on a West Coast trip, right? Eric Spoelstra, head coach of the Heat, he comes home. His house is burnt to the ground. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar house gone, all gone. So I can't help but think Miami is going to get extra pumped up. Those players, he was devastated, obviously, as you think he would be. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Apparently, no one was in the house. Like I said, he was on the West Coast, but that line was 4.5 this morning. It's up to 7.5. But you know what? This is one time I'm not going to let the boys in Vegas scare me off. Give me Miami. They win by double digits over a bad Charlotte team.
He's had a rough year or so. He just got divorced recently as well. I don't know the marital status of every NBA coach, but I happen to know about his story. So just for the record, so he's had a rough little run. Listen, we got a football game coming up in about an hour's time, but I'm going to take the USC Trojans. We're going to lay the points with the Trojans in this game against Northwestern. This is a good USC team. Like, the USC Trojans are a good football team. 6-2. Straight up. If you look at their losses, they've had a difficult schedule in the Big Ten. Life's not easy in the Big Ten for them. So they're 2 losses this year. They lost at Illinois in a wild football game that they lost 34-32, whoever had the ball last type of thing. And they lost by 10 as 10.5-point underdogs at Notre Dame in bad weather. So you look at their 2 losses, I don't think people know how good USC actually are. And yeah, they scored 21 points last week in their win against Nebraska, and they only scored 24, but that's in the Midwest, on the road, etc. At home, their last home game, they hung 31 on a very good Michigan defense. They hung 45 on Michigan State. They're going to hang like 45-plus tonight on Northwestern. They're going to get into the 40s. The game's going to go over the number, and the USC Trojans are going to cover the number tonight.
All right, there you go. Laying a big number it is. I got one more. I think Gabe's got one more as well. No problem. We'll get to that when we come back. In-game live, Game Day on the Grid is underway.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 1, Scott and Gabe just underway. Finishing up our opening pickoff. I got one more, Gabe. I'm going contrarian for the most part on OKC this year. I just think it's that difficult. Young team to duplicate as champs. They had a great year, right? I mean, straight up against the spread. They almost set Vegas records. They were covering 2 out of every 3 games. So they're off a rare loss. And I know the whole world's thinking, okay, OKC's not going to lose 2 in a row. Last year, 20-2 straight up after a loss last season. Against the spread, not quite as good, but still pretty, impressive. 13-8-1. But it's not the same team. I mean, it is, but on the court and with the boys in Vegas anyway, it's not. They're only 4-5 against the spread this year. And considering they only had about 30 against the spread losses all of last season, that's a lot. They're going to be about a 500 team. So long story short, they're supposed to win. They probably will win. They might even win by double digits, but I'm not going to lay 11.5 on the road. Sacramento blows, I get that, but give me the Kings plus 11. That's a monster number against OKC tonight.
One thing about the Oklahoma City Thunder, I do agree, and they've been resilient as far as finding ways to win games, right? Like as far as their win-loss record is concerned. They don't care about the point spread, right? They don't care about like what we're doing. But they're going to be overpriced. They literally had like one of the best betting seasons out of any team in any sport in the history of the world last year. Like when you add in the playoffs, they literally ended up like 84-14 against a spread type thing. Like it was insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Right? Like, like they cover, like not only did they win, Scott, last year, like at home, they'd win by 26. You know what I mean? On the road, they win by 10. Right? Like they murdered teams last year. So they're going to be overpriced now, and they are injured still. They're not even 100%. They're one thing I'll say though, Scott. They're not like we think of the Florida Panthers and like I mean, it's sort of the thing in hockey. All right, the Capitals won the cup. Let's fade them early here, right? Like the Panthers, etc. The Oklahoma City Thunder are different. Like they're very young. They don't drink. They don't party. They're a bunch of geeks. Like they're a boring bunch of kids. This team. So like. They don't really, like, you can't catch them. It's like in the fight game. I'm a fight better and a fight fan, Scott. And a lot of times fighters become champions, bro. And what happens, right? They start cheating on their wife or you know what I mean? They start, like, trophy girlfriends and money and, like, cars and whatever. They start to get distracted and stuff, right? Some champions don't, right? Some are, like, the exact same person, whether they win or lose, and they're rich or poor. And that's the difference. The Oklahoma City Thunder are kind of like that, where – success doesn't get to their head, really. Like, they're too young to care. Like, they just go out there and they keep playing, but it doesn't mean they're going to cover spreads. So, look, they're 8-1 straight up, but they're only 4-5 against the spread this year, guys. So, I think that'll be the case. Oklahoma City will still win basketball games, but there'll be an opportunity to bet against them. I believe it. So, I don't have a problem with betting. Listen, if you bet against the Thunder in every game this year, you're up by 1 game. Right, so you haven't lost just even picking on them in every game. But they will get healthier too, right? Like not having Jalen Williams is obviously massive for them. I got more picks later, but a pick I'll bring up, the other college football game. I don't know how you feel about it. It's kind of a tricky one with Tulane and Memphis.
Well, the quarterback.
The quarterback.
Scared me off. Yeah.
Yeah, the quarterback of Memphis. Is he playing? Is he isn't playing? And he's there, but how much is he going to play? Are they lying? Like, no one knows, right? It's one of these. He's been practicing, Scott, point blank, right? He's been practicing. They didn't really hide it earlier in the week. The Silverfield said, listen, if he can play, he'll play. And he goes, but I need him to be 100%. Like, he needs to be able to go. And he practiced yesterday. I saw media reports, beat writers there. They said, he's in practice. Was he 100%? No, but he's practicing. The point spread is dipped all the way down to 3 right now. So clearly the betting market, the so-called sharp market, Scott, believes that he's not playing or he's not going to play to his capacity, etc. But number one, I don't really think it matters all that much. I'm not dismissing he's a good quarterback, but Memphis are going to score anyways. Memphis are going to give up points anyways. Like, it's not really going to change their identity. They're not like you and I talk about it. The Memphis Tigers aren't changing their playbook tonight. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're going to do their thing, and that's what they do, and they do it pretty damn good. And I don't think Tulane are that good, actually. Tulane aren't as good as they were last year. They're not as good as their record is, guys, this year. We saw they got lit up. You and I watched UTSA last night, Scott. UTSA beat this Tulane team by 20+. Right? Like, this isn't last year's Tulane college football playoff team. They're good, but they're not great. Memphis are really good. I'm going to say Memphis are great, but Memphis are really good. I just can't. Like, when I see a total of 54 in a Memphis game, I got to bet the over.
Oh,
so we're
right,
using, we're using the pickoff pick as an over, Scott, but I'm going to play the Memphis Tigers now that they're down to 3. I like it even more. And you know what it's like. Watch, the starter will end up playing well.
That's the problem. Same thing. When I saw that number 53.5 game for a Memphis home game, I'm like, let me take out a mortgage payment for this. And you read about the
Let's just not chase like last night, Scott. Let's not play 89.5.
Yeah.
So we'll play the original over. Yeah.
So, but he's also their leading rusher. So he's like a big cog of their, and their backup has thrown one pass, I was reading, all season. So it's like there is seemingly a drop off. That's why it's tough to bet. We'll see. But that's the one thing about college sports. NFL, you could kind of get a grasp of who's playing, who's not playing, with all the injury reports. College football, they don't have that.
They don't have to tell you. They'll do what they want.
Not
like they play
hockey. Hockey with the upper body, and you can have an upper body injury, and it's a toe injury. I mean, they're like hockey. They
created that, right? Because they're all like, they think, well, we don't want to tell the other team or where he's injured because they're going to hit him there. It's like, you don't think the guys on the other team who actually hurt him already know what they did to him?
I know.
So they're like, he's got an upper body injury. It's like, no, you know what? He got slashed in the wrist, and the dude that slashed him, and everyone on the team knows that I slashed him in the wrist and I hurt his wrist. In the playoffs, they think it's a secret, Scott. It's like, you don't think the guys on the ice on the other team saw what happened and know? Oh, yeah, he just twisted his knee. Like, you're right there. Like, you know what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so fun. The upper body injury, lower body.
They created that hockey. Yeah. Dude, I heard it in football the other day. Some football coach said he's got an upper body injury. I was like, oh boy, here we go. It's made its way to football now.
Wow. We don't want that. We definitely don't want. Sooner or later, college is going to have to come up with something. The boys in Vegas are going to force them to you got to come up with something Saturday night or Friday night, whatever, before the game. Let us know who's playing, who's not playing.
I never blame the coach.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, full slate, little college basketball, little college football. Got the potential upset going on in college basketball with Purdue. They started the second half. I'll double check on the score, but they were tied with Oakland at 35 apiece. In fact, they were trailing until Purdue hit a jumper basically at the end of the first half to tie it.
I laid the points. I laid 31.5 points.
Wow.
We talked about this. Dude, this is the same Oakland team that Michigan beat. You and I talked about this yesterday. So already, and we said, you know how perception is. You can't tell me right now that, hey, look, Michigan just murdered this team. Purdue, typical Purdue chokers, huh? You think they're going to win the championship?
Yeah.
I know you don't, but that's why I said the other night, perception is everything early in the season. Like I said, Michigan guys played the same Oakland team 48 hours ago and hung 121 points on them. They beat them 121-78. And they took it easy. Like, they kind of took the pedal off the metal and stuff. Like, they murdered them. And here's Purdue, the number one ranked team in the country, laying 32.5 points tonight. It was 30 last night when we talked about it, so the market bought in as well. I am on the over as well of this game, and it's right there. It closed at 159. We're at 160.5 right now. The Boilermakers have a 7-point lead over the Grizzlies.
Wow. Can you imagine if they lost? Oakland beat somebody a couple of years ago. I forget who it was.
They're not bad, Oakland, generally. They're worse now. They used to be pretty good. If you remember, Scott, there was a few years, probably about 10 years ago, maybe 7 in that range, whatever. But they used to be one of those fast teams. Like, they played, like, super crazy fast. And they were pretty scary then. It was, like, annoying to play them because it was like, oh, man, these guys are going to shoot, like, 53s out of us. So, like, you have to be ready when you play at Oakland. Now they seem to have fallen off the face of the basketball world. People get confused with Oakland. It's not California, right, guys? It's Michigan.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's Michigan,
basically Auburn Hills area where the Detroit Pistons used to play.
They're down 7. They just locked it. It was 16.5 a moment ago. I would think when everything is said and done, although they do have 20 points in this second half. It was tied at 35. They got 55, so it's not like they're not scoring anymore. But I would think Purdue would win by 20, right? When everything is said and done, 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes left, up by 7. If they put the 16
they'll try to close strong. This is kind of embarrassing for them, right?
Yeah. Right? I mean, this team lost by 40 points last time. I mean, you're the number one team in the nation, but it's a typical Purdue team. Maybe they think it's the NCAA tournament. I mean, this team always just like...
It's always dangerous laying a ton of points, right? Yeah. And we've got the game of the night tonight, too. And anytime I sort of flip-flop, it's never a good idea. And I was sort of, I'm more of a Kansas. I talked about it last time. I'm more of a Kansas guy than North Carolina. Like, I bet on Kansas a lot. I believe in the program. They have a great phenom. There's a lot of college basketball phenoms now. There's Peterson kid. There's another one of these phenoms. And I don't really think too much. I don't think the home court is the be-all, end-all that it used to be, actually, for North Carolina anymore. But with that being stated, when push came to shove, Scott, I ended up pulling the trigger on the Tar Heels. You're right. I was,
really?
They had more returning starters, more guys back. Kansas can't really shoot. Kansas have sort of 2 dudes and a bunch of other guys. So ultimately I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the Tar Heels here. And I was feeling pretty dumb about it, or I was like, son of a bitch, earlier in the game, man. Kansas were up 37-29 at the half, but how about this? North Carolina have outscored them 23-9 so far in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, listen, on paper, you give me Kansas or you give me North Carolina or any of these blue blood teams, pick them at home, basically, right? You take it. I did think Kansas, it's kind of not a moment of truth year for Bill Self, but it was a disappointing year last year, losing at home to bad teams, just like, just an Kansas-like game and season, rather. So that's why I'm kind of looking to bet on Kansas' first couple of games, and I'll give them 4 or 5 games, and if it doesn't look like we're getting the old Bill Self Kansas teams, then I'll jump off the bandwagon. But I thought they would win tonight, so they're getting 7.5 now.
All these early games don't really matter though to teams, right? It's like I said, Kansas have a bunch of new players, bro. Like Bill Self doesn't even know these kids, right? He's figuring out his team, and that's why some of these big-time teams like playing against other good teams, right? Yeah. And people overreact to it. It's the same thing every year with Michigan State. Michigan State will open up the season like 1-3. They'll play in a bunch of these tournaments against really good teams. People are like, oh, Tom Izzo's slipping. Hey, Michigan State. And it's like, hey, talk to me in 6 weeks. Like, they're trying to toughen up. Like, they do have a mini preseason now, actually. Some of these teams did play exhibition games against each other. But for the most part, they're just, they don't even know. Like, first time these kids are playing.
Yeah. All right, in-game live, game day. Let's see what's going on with Victor Wembanyama. Another bad game from him.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in. Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, you know, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. We got a little college basketball. We got some full slate of college football, obviously, tomorrow. 3 games, pretty good games later on, or tonight as well. Well, a couple of them already kicked off. So let's talk a little college football, maybe a little college basketball as well with our good buddy Colby Dan. Check out all his work, Sports Gambling Podcast Network, his show, The College Experience Podcast. What's going on, Colby? How are you tonight?
I'm great. How you guys doing? It's good to be back, and great weekend ahead of us.
Yeah. Let me start with real quick with college basketball with the Kansas-North Carolina game, because Gabe and I were talking about that. You're a big college hoops guy, obviously. Who'd you have in that game, and would you get the what are they getting, 6.5, 7.5 right now, because North Carolina is leading?
Yeah, I was on Carolina, but I mean, at this point, it was probably the time to buy in if you're going to go with Kansas. Live, if you're looking to live bet this thing, but I took Carolina at home. I thought there was more pressure on Hubert Davis. This is one after a really bad year last year. I went to ACC Media Days, and a lot of questions were pertaining his job. A lot of questions were pertaining, the NIL resources that they seem to be shifting, allocating to their football program more so than basketball. So I think it's a big year for him to get the fan base excited, to remind people that this is North Carolina. You know what I mean? So I thought Kansas, on paper, I actually like the roster better. But a lot of these big-time matchups in college hoops in November, December aren't traditionally on campus. Kansas, I think it's been over 10 years since they played at an ACC team on their actual floor. So I took Carolina with the home crowd, and I thought that the desperate spot that Hubert Davis was in.
I pulled the trigger with the Tar Heels, too. I couldn't resist the player prop with Peterson tonight. It was 20.5. And it's amazing to me, Colby. Me and Scott were talking about this the other night. Boozer's first kid's first game in college basketball is props 20.5 points. It's almost unheard of in like the old days. I like these massive numbers now, but Peterson's got 15 points right now, and there's still about 12 minutes left of the basketball game, so I need 6 more there. But I am on the Tar Heels. But we got the football coming up here tonight. The Memphis-Tulane game's the tricky one, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I gave the picks out earlier. I'm looking for USC to roll Northwestern tonight, and I like the over the football game. But, man, it's steamrolling up. People bet this thing up to 54 right now. That thing was literally like 51 earlier in the day.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I'm with you with USC. I tend to like I don't know that we have enough data yet with just a 1-year sample size of like all these, whether it's ACC, whether it's Big Ten, teams that go back and forth between the East and the West. I think USC, I think that's a bigger edge than people think. You see it in NBA, you see it in NFL. You even see it in one conference in the FCS. So I think it actually is a big deal. So I like taking USC at home against the Northwestern squad that's kind of overachieved. But I think USC knows. I think Lincoln Riley knows that this is a pressure moment for him. He's got to be able to. You can't be messing around with Northwestern at home. So I think they'll get it done. I just think they're far superior too. I actually thought USC played bad last week in their win, considering the way I've watched them. I thought they actually played bad. So probably a reason to get after them in practice.
But still not bad, Colby. I know people, you want perfection, people, but like they went to Notre Dame, they went to Nebraska, they came back to the West Coast with 1 win, right? If you look at their losses this year, they lost a coin flip crazy game to Illinois on the road, and they lost to Notre Dame on the road. At home, they're a dangerous-ass team.
100%. And look, I think they can still get to the playoffs. I think there's still a path. They got to go to Oregon, which is always tricky. Yep. But Oregon's only win with is against a winning record is Northwestern. So Oregon's got to prove it to me. So I like USC laying the points. And then the other one, I'm on Tulane. I know this line's come down a bit in the past 24 hours. I know both coaches are being like speculated that they're taking SEC jobs, which you never know the distraction point there.
And
but the road teams won
about the quarterback tonight too, with Lewis. A lot of speculation tonight.
100%. But the road teams won the last 4. And to me, I actually think Tulane's the better team. And the fact they got beat down the way they got beat down a week ago, I think they're going to be laser focused for this. They also are. To me, Memphis is more of the renter roster this season than Tulane. Tulane's guys were on the team last year when Memphis beat them. I think that means something. So I ended up taking Tulane. I like Tulane to win the game outright.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I guess it doesn't matter who's starting at quarterback for them. So, all right. How about Texas Tech, the big one tomorrow? 11 o'clock local time start, which is just crazy to me. Noon Eastern time. Texas Tech laying 10.5 against BYU.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it seems a little chalky at this point from just doing some other shows, but I loaded up on Texas Tech. I know the fans, for whatever ridiculous reason, you're not allowed to throw a tortilla, but you can go outside the street and buy an AK. You can buy an AK-47 at the Walmart, but you can't throw a tortilla. What are we doing here? What's the last player that was injured from a tortilla? Right?
I like that. That's what the Big 12, like, that was the line in the sand, Colby, right? Like, for college football. Everything that's wrong in the world of college, like, they're really mad. You got to stop throwing the tortillas. Like, dude, they've been doing it for 70 years, man. Like, leave them alone. Like, let them throw the damn tortilla on the field. Like,
are they aware that they're playing a game with shoulder pads and a face mask? I mean, what is the last time a tortilla connected with someone through all of that? I mean,
coming from a sport that pushes the Pop-Tart bowl and a giant Pop-Tart like on the field.
Right? I mean,
we pour mayonnaise on coaches now, and they're upset about the tortilla. The only thing they're upset about is they're not making money off it. Hey, if Tostitos sponsors it, hey, suddenly,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe that's the angle, right? Maybe that's the angle. They're trying
exactly.
to pinch.
You want money? You want to put a sponsor on it? Go ahead, all right?
Well, you got to lay the double digits, huh? 10.5 is a big number.
Well, my logic was this. Like, BYU, Kalani Sitake's overachieved. Look, I was not very bullish on them this year, especially after Retzlaff left. I still think they've gotten very fortunate in their road games.
Feels like Cincinnati, so I'll just say. It's almost the same script as Cincinnati at Utah last week, right, guys? People are like, Cincinnati, they're not as good as the record is, and they're going to get lit up by Utah, and they ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers with Bachmeier, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback long term. But in those road trips, short of the East Carolina game, I believe the Colorado and Arizona game, he threw for $170. They ran for a ton of yards those games. I don't think they're going to have the luxury to run against that really good, stout Texas Tech defense. They're going to need to throw the ball, and a freshman quarterback on the road, hostile environment, tortillas or not, I'll take my chances with the Red Raiders.
Are they done if BYU loses, by the way? Their first loss, they'd still be in a position to, go to the Big 12 title game, but if they were to lose that, is this almost like you got to win, otherwise BYU's out of the running?
I mean, I'm never going to say never, but and I don't agree with the rankings. Like, I mean, some of the rankings I just thought were it insults your intelligence if you watch every game, and I don't mean that. I don't really have a favorite team. My favorite team is East Carolina, so I mean they're not even sniffing this thing. I just think I just think
David
it's like
Gerard, baby.
Yeah, there we go. So I mean, I probably because you saw the disrespect a year ago. I thought lost in all of the Alabama talk. Was BYU deserved, I thought, just as much of the right to get in as Alabama or some other schools. They played really well. I mean, that's the thing that bothers me about the committee is they say, well, what they say? The guy said it the other night when they interviewed him. They're like, they won a lot of close games, so we penalize them. But it's like, they got Georgia, number 3 or 4? Every Georgia game, there is a close game. But that works for them, but not them. So they move the goalpost nonstop.
Yeah, they'll tell you margin of victory doesn't matter. And you'll like my East Carolina knowledge. I'm going to go old school here, Colby. Great CFL quarterback. A guy I love betting on him over the years.
Marcus Crandell, baby.
Damn right. Yeah, great quarterback.
Let's go. There we go.
Wasn't there an offensive lineman, Jeff Long? Also, he's like all muscles. I remember that, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Ernest Biner?
There you go.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. All right. More recovery when we come back.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in. Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe checking out all the action with Colby Dan. By the way, real quickly, the house burning down system. Oh, who's got more systems than us, right? Miami 58, Charlotte 35. The next time a head coach has a house burned down, if you didn't put money on Miami like we told you to, you're regretting it. Next time you have to.
Or Charlotte just suck.
Or Charlotte just sucks. You just keep on betting against Charlotte. It did help that they were playing Charlotte tonight and not OKC or Boston or some other really good
Steve
team.
Steve Kerr's house burnt down in the fires last year in California too, in Los Angeles. So I'll have to look up and see, Scott, if he covered the first game after when he was back after his house burned.
Definitely have to. I'm quickly checking here. Purdue starting to pull 83-69. Purdue leading now by 2.5 minutes left. The line is 14.5. So they're going to get the win. But boy, they had a little bit of a scare. That is for sure. But it does look like they're actually going to get the win. Over under is 164.5. So,
Okay. Okay.
No?
Okay.
No. Okay. All right, man. We'll reset with Cobley.
Having some audio issues.
Reset. Yeah, little audio. No big deal. We'll try and reset with him because I always like talking to Colb. So 3-0 Central Florida over Houston. Weird having Memphis and Tulane start at 9 o'clock. Not exactly sure why they did that. USC Northwestern, I get, but it's got to be something.
8 o'clock in New Orleans.
Or Fox. Yeah. But it's at Memphis though. So Memphis to Tennessee is kind of like
Tennessee. Same thing though. Central time zone.
It's central.
So it's 8 o'clock there. It's not 9 o'clock there. You know what I mean?
Right. Still 8 o'clock. Usually it's a little bit earlier than that.
And Fox, like you said about Texas Tech, right? Everybody complains all the time about these start times. Like, these college coaches, they're always bitching about everything. But whatever, the big game on Fox is their game at noon. And I don't know why Fox did that. It was almost like they didn't want to mess with the 3:30 slot, right? They didn't want to mess with the SEC and the 3:30 slot, the traditional like 3:30 Eastern slot. But Fox has made their game of the day. Like they have games all day, but their feature game is the noon game, right? And it pisses Ohio State off when they're on noon all the time. It's like, well, whatever. If you're good, this is the time you get. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like, so same thing with Texas Tech. So like, they don't like it, whatever. You're starting at 11 a.m. It's well, you're now good. So you got the prime time. You got their prime slot here at noon, right? So I don't know why Fox, they made that conscious decision that, you know what, like I said, they figured the 3:30 thing is traditional SEC. They're not going to mess with it. Nighttime, they didn't want to get buried with the other games. And the SEC has a big game every Saturday night too. So, in hindsight, it was probably pretty smart of them to carve out that noon market,
Yeah. It's like, hey, what can I tell you? Move your team. Go on the East Coast. Or don't join the conference. Don't take our money. You know this going in.
Well, yeah, it was like Michigan State crying when they played at 11 o'clock Eastern. It's like, well, whatever, dude. You guys are getting more money now because you can't take the money when the California teams join and then cry about going to California.
Right. So you made your bed, lying it.
But something Colby brought up, and like, I can dig into the numbers here. I told you we will talk about the Michigan a lot, that number about they're 1-12, guys. 1-12, their last 13 times that they've traveled through 2 time zones. I've noticed that the Western teams deal with going east better for whatever reason. Like you figure out the weather wouldn't be good for them and this and that, but I said before, like the West teams kind of used to traveling as it was. Like, they used to play non-conference games. The Pac-12 was so big and so geographically spread out, they weren't taking buses. Like, they were flying a lot and stuff. You look at the Big Ten, how many planes do you really take? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what you do, it's like, 45 minutes to whatever somewhere, like an hour flight instead of the, you know what I mean? Like, it's just different. So I think for whatever reason, we're seeing it. The ACC is really bad, Scott. Teams that travel west in the ACC, and Stanford suck, and Cal are just kind of okay, and they still even lose to them, right? Like, dude, look, man, Penn State lost to UCLA. Penn State, Michigan got lit up, bro, we lost 31-13. in Los Angeles. It is what it is. I don't think it's going to end well for Northwestern tonight either.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because we talked about this. It should be the other way around because when you're flying west, at least you're gaining hours. When the west teams are flying east, they're losing hours. It's hard enough flying, 3 hours, 4 hours, and you're even losing hours. But you're right.
But it's later
like
for them too, right? So think about it. Yeah. So when tonight it's going to be 9 o'clock for them, but with the travel and the time zone difference, they're going to be a little bit jet lagged. I think these teams, they're kind of cheap, right? They all they really care about is money. Like even Michigan. Michigan got there on like Thursday night, like late Thursday night for the Saturday game. You should probably get there earlier. Like these college teams, they kind of fly in and they don't realize the effect that the travel is going to have on them and the time zone difference will have on them.
North Carolina, by the way, pulling away from Kansas, 77-62. Wow, they were down. You said it. They were down 8 at the half. They've outscored them by 25.
Ballsy effort in the second half here.
Yeah. Hard to believe they would, fire Hubert, being a local guy, one of their own. But it's one of those where they wouldn't necessarily fire. They would just say, just step aside a little bit. Although they did with Matt Doherty, they whacked him.
No, they would fire him. Trust me, they would whack his ass. They would. But like you're right, there's a sentimental, side to it. But the thing with Hubert Davis is he had that. He's never really had a good season. Like he had a good run. They made it to the final or whatever it was, the Final Four, the final. Like
finals.
So he sort of had out of the blue. Okay, we got good late in the season, and he had another little run in the tournament, but he hasn't had like a good, we're really good for real. We're 30-7 type thing. It's always like, he had a good little mini tournament run. Like he hasn't really had a good year yet. Like Colby said, he's got to get everyone excited about the team instead of oh boy, we're not very good,
Doesn't seem like he's getting the big time recruits. Even the year he went to the finals, it was a bunch of guys that were okay. They weren't like
he did this year. He did. He's got a big one now. Yeah.
Okay.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz, only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe closing out hour number 1. Thanks to Colby Dent. They couldn't re-hook up with him, unfortunately. Little technical difficulties, as you have from time to time doing these shows remote. So, but we'll get back with him next week for sure. Hockey schedule tonight. What do we got? 4 games. The Islanders in Minnesota will start there, Gabe. 4-2 after 2. I'll tell you what, the Islanders, Minnesota leads. Well, you talk about an over machine. They're putting the puck in the net and they're giving up a ton of goals. So it's 6.5 today. It's now 8.5. And then you got the Rangers actually scored two times. Leading Detroit 2-1 heading into the third period. Any action on those before we get to the late games?
No, I was going to take the Rangers tonight. We talk about it. The Rangers are a good road team, right? They struggle at home.
Yeah.
But they're a good road team. So people don't think they're good because they don't score at home. And then you get a better price when they go on the road, and they are good. So speaking of getting good, the Blackhawks have gotten good now. Blackhawks are above 500 after their win against the Vancouver Canucks the other night, and now their Western Canadian swing continues tonight against the Flames. Flames played well the other night, and the Flames deserve better. The Flames are better than their record is, right? So this is kind of a tricky game tonight, but I'm not going to overthink it. We gave you the pick 2 nights ago with Connor Bedard, and it's now been 9 straight games that he's had 3 or more shots on goal. Now, they've adjusted a little bit. We gave it the other night was minus 175. Tonight is minus 180. Now, you can play the alt line if you want, right, and go over 3.5. And he has had like 4 or more in multiple games as well, but using the 2.5, which is the prop tonight for Connor Bedard, 9 consecutive games, guys, of 3 or more shots on goal. And I got to be honest, too. I think he's only had like 3 once. Like, it really has been. So if you want to get into it a little bit deeper and say, all right, let's, get plus money and go over to 3.5. He had 5 shots against the Canucks, 4 shots against Seattle, 4 shots against Edmonton, 3 against Winnipeg, 5 against Ottawa, and then 3-3. Oh, he had 9 against Anaheim, but they play a crazy style. And we had 4 against Vancouver earlier. So it really is unbelievable. I mean, it's minus 180. You can put it in a parlay if you guys want, but I like that play, Scott. Connor Bedard over 2.5 shots on goal.
Yeah. See, it used to be, Gabe, and I'm not talking that long ago. I'm talking like 3-4 years ago when I was hosting the morning show here. We really got into the shots on goal, and they would do that, like whatever. But back then, it would stay 2.5, and it would stay minus 115, maybe minus 120. Who's betting shots on goals? Who cares, right? And we just made a killing off that. Now, they won't bump it up to 3.5 because now a lot more active, because if we were winning, then I'm sure everyone else was winning as well. But now you got to lay $1.80. You said it's $1.75, but then you can't bet the under 3.5 because he only gets 3. So they force you to put him in a parlay. I mean, unless you want to lay $1.75.
But you know what's going to happen soon? At 9 straight games, I would imagine. Let's say he goes over again today. I promise you, on Saturday when they play, or Sunday, whatever they play next, it's going to be 3.5. Right, so it's almost going to be unbettable soon because 4 is not easy, right? 4 is a pretty high number, right. So this is almost our last dance here at 2.5 with Connor Bedard. They're eventually going to catch on here, guys. I mean, it's been 9 straight games.
It's amazing. You said it. I mean, you look at his numbers last year, 2 years ago. He wasn't shooting. This year, that's not. Maybe he's just getting better. Maybe it's because, as you've said before, they told him you got to shoot some more, kid. But he clearly is. No 2 ways about it. So 9 in a row. And like you said, 1, 2, 3, 4,
you know what
5,
it is too?
6 times he's gotten 4 or more in that streak. So
what it is, he's gotten better, right? He's only 20, right? So he was in the league when he was 18. Yeah. So he's only 20 years old. And he really didn't have anybody to play with before. So it's a problem. Right? How are you going to get shots on goal? Like when, you know what I mean? Like you can't, it's not that, it's not like, oh yeah, one guy, I'm good so I can get shots on goal. It doesn't work that way in hockey. Right, like you need help, right? He can't skate around. It's not like Bobby Orr, guys, who was the great, Bobby Orr used to do it, just skate around 5 dudes and put the puck in the net. Like Connor McDavid does it once in a while, where it's like, oh God, like you just made him look like 12-year-olds. Like if he wants to, he can sort of make you look stupid. But Bedard didn't have anyone, Scott. Now the Chicago Blackhawks, they actually have 4 or 5, 6 good forwards now. Suddenly the puck is bouncing around in front of the net more. You know what I mean? Suddenly he's got like give and goes, and you need players to play with. And now he's got some players to play with, and that's why the production is up.
You don't see this line too often. 6.5 in a Winnipeg Jets game at San Jose. I don't know if Hellebuck is not playing or not, but I think it's really more just a San Jose. It's been putting the puck in the net, believe it or not. But that's a tough number to go over on, that's for sure. Hour number 2 coming up next.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. College football opposite picks coming up in about 25 minutes. We got the coach, Terry Bowden Blitz, coming up in about 15 as well. So a little bit of everything tonight, including some college football. 2 games kicking off here in a little bit. 1 game's already underway. Low scoring game. I thought we'd get a few more points. 3-0 Central Florida leading Houston. Their early second quarter there. Over-under is down to 37. And a half. So I thought we'd get a little bit more out of that game.
Houston sort of score in bunches, kind of when they have to. Their offense isn't really very fluid, right? Even though they score, it sort of happens, like I said, in chunks or when they're kind of forced to, when they have been slow starters before, right? We've seen this. I mean, we saw it against, Oregon State? It was a Friday night game. They went to Oregon State, same thing. They were down like 16-0 or something like that. Unfortunately, it caught up to them last week with West Virginia. They spotted the lead of West Virginia. So we talk about Georgia being slow starters, 1-14 against the spread the last 15 first halves. The Houston Cougars have been slow starters this year. And, yeah, the total was starting to fade a little bit here with a 3-0 football game. But at the same point in time, it's not like UCF is lighting it up, right, for our Houston side of things. We got a 3-0 game here, and we're ready for kickoff right now. Northwestern, USC. We laid the points with the USC Trojans. We played the over in the Northwestern and the USC game. And I also took Memphis minus 155 money line and over 53.5. So we're locked and loaded and ready to go.
I stayed off the Memphis game. I wasn't sure about the quarterback. I really, it's disappointing because I would be all over that over. And listen, it's in game live, right? That's what you do. Let me see the first quarter. Let me see him if he's going to play, and if he is playing, how well he's playing. And if they keep the number right around 53.5, I think we'll get some points because the defense stinks for Memphis, and their offense is great. So I think that is more than doable. And I do like the over in the USC Northwestern game. I'm not going to take USC. This Northwestern team's not a bad little team. You know, they hung tough there with Oregon. They didn't get blown out when Oregon was blowing everybody out. Very deceptive. They got the lawsuit out of their way. Maybe they're all kind of done.
Yeah, that game, though, that Oregon game, though, was in, like, heavy rain playing on the waterfront in their stadium there, right? It wasn't like they did. I'm going to give them credit for it. Yeah, we'll see. Like you said, they're 5-2-1 against the spread, right? I mean, they've been a scrappy team, as you stated. They're 5-3 straight up, but going on the road is a little bit different of an animal for them. And when they have gone on the road, they've lost, but they lost, they lost close at Nebraska, etc. I just think USC are going to roll tonight and put up like 45. Like USC at home are a different animal than they are on the road.
College basketball, all but over. North Carolina leads 87-74, literally final seconds. So that did just squeak over the over. It wasn't the over one, I want to say 160. In that range. I don't even think it was in the 160s. So it
closed at 150, 158, 159. It actually was 153 earlier in the week. Like, you know, when the number came out like a day and a half ago, 2 days ago, et cetera, it was like 153, 154. It got all the way back up to 159, and it ends up squeezing over the number, as you stated, 87-74 final score. The game has just come to an end, and I'm glad that it does because the Memphis-Tulane game's on the same channel, and it's coming up right now. So hurry up. Let's get to the football game.
There you go. No foul in there. Purdue ends up winning by 10. So I don't know what the numbers, how low they got, but I saw it as low as like 16.5. I don't know if it went much lower than that, maybe later in the game, but either way, more than likely you lost that bet, whether it was to start the game. Did get to 164. So I think you said the over was 162, 163, something like that. So it did pop
159.
159. All right. So that's a nice one of those where you bet the underdog and over, which I like to do sometimes. This way, you know, in this case, Oakland scores a certain amount of points. Usually it's right around 55, 56. And they do that, you get maybe a double winner, which is what that was. So, all right. So we had a little college basketball. NBA, Victor Wembanyama, I wanted to bring this up, Gabe. He's got 4 points right now. This is his third straight bad game. I'm not sure what's going on with him. He had 19 the other night, which isn't horrible. Then I think he had 9 the game before that. Now he only has, last check he had anyway, 4 as they started the second half. They're into the third quarter now. If you make anything of that, fluky, you bet the over right now.
No.
It's up to 10 now. I will say he's up to 10 right now, and they're giving you 19.5. But he was 4, and they were giving you 16.5 at halftime.
What I make of it is the San Antonio Spurs are missing, like, literally, how many starters are they without? Let's see it. Basically 3.
Yeah,
like
they get Fox back tomorrow.
They don't have anybody. They got Castle.
Yeah.
They did get Champagne back, who missed the free throw the other night in a wild ending. So yeah, no, I'm not overly panicked. You'd like to see him, you know what I mean, like, you know, dominate every night, but we're sort of back to the Bedard stuff, right? I mean, it's hard to dominate if you're, you know, you don't have your players on the floor, and they, you know, they're just sort of shorthanded right now. But with that being stated, they're winning the basketball game by 7 points.
Yeah, that's why I would go with Kevin Durant right now. You know, he's got 15 points, and they're giving you over 23.5. A little juice, minus 128, but you know, in a game in which he's trailing, it just bumped it to 24 now, but still, I'd even do that. In a game in which he's trailing, albeit by only 7, midway through the third quarter, but I you know, it seems to me that he's got to pick up the slack here. I think he gets 10 more points. I would go over Kevin Durant right now, 24.5.
For the record, all the talk about the Memphis quarterback, right now he's out there on the field taking the coin toss right now. He's ready to go. So, like, everyone got sort of sucked into this with the number and stuff right now. Let's see if it's popped back up that people are seeing now that, all right, there he is. Yeah, it popped up to 3.5 right now. Went down to 2.5, so I see a 3.5 now. So, yeah, he's on the field. Weather looks like, is it raining there? No, I guess not. Not raining. Sort of look like a little misty type of thing, but southern night, I guess, So, yeah, we're ready to kick off here in Memphis. Tulane, nice southern battle coming up, and USC and Northwestern have kicked off on Fox as well.
You can bet the adjusted line on this stuff, but I will throw it out there, Gabe. They bumped Connor Bedard to 3.5. It's plus 138. A lot of the books will offer you adjusted lines, so if you want to go to the 2.5 at minus 174, I'm sure that's there, but it is just kind of interesting. We talked about it, and all of a sudden 2.5 flips to 3.5. It's the same bet in essence. Like I said, if you go to adjusted lines, it's probably there at 2.5, but I would just as soon bet the 2.5 at minus odds than I would the 3.5 for most people. But he's due in this streak.
He's due to not get 4. Like, I'll put it that way, right? Like, it's not normal to get 4 shots on goal every night in the National Hockey League for like that consistently. So you figure there's a regression coming. Calgary are a pretty scrappy team. Yeah, like they're going to check you. They're going to block shots. Like, they're not going to make it easy for them. Like, but with that being stated, you watch a Calgary Flame game, and it's pretty free-flowing. Their goalie is really good, though, right? Dustin Wolf is a great goalie. So you got some good goalies here today. Let me just confirm that. Is Spencer Knight the goalie as well? Man, they already took the goaltending props off of the board here, unfortunately.
Yeah, they don't keep them up for some reason. Not exactly sure why.
Nah, they got some. Still got the goal scores up, but yeah, they pulled the goalie prop down. But yeah, adjusting to 3.5, it starts to get a little dangerous. But I'm going to keep riding this at 2.5 until the price gets too crazy.
You're right about the shots allowed for Calgary. You think historically, at least I do. I think, okay, a pretty good defensive team. They've actually given up the third most shots in the NHL behind the Bruins and Predators.
Yeah, they've been saved by their goalies.
Yeah,
they've been saved by their goalie a lot. They skate like they're like a lot of teams now. Like they skate around, they play fast and stuff, but they don't have a lot of finish and skill. That's the Calgary problem. Like they're really not all that talented. They work their asses off.
All right, the coach, Terry Bowden. Bowden Blitz is coming up next here in the Grid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Hour number 2 on this fabulous Friday. College football opposite picks coming up in about 5-10 minutes or so. Speaking of college football, we got 3 games underway. We got a great slate tomorrow, so let's bring in the coach, Terry Bowden, host of the Bowden Blitz, you see, and here on Sports Grid. What's going on, Coach? How are you tonight?
Now already getting into some football. Houston, UCF already started. We got some good ones on the road right now, getting some other ones getting started.
All right, let's talk with Houston. Gabe and I both like the Cougars. They're down 3-0, not quite the scoring that we thought we might be getting in that game. But early second quarter, and Central Florida does have it at the Houston 25-yard line as well. What would you like in that one?
But I like Houston in this game. Houston is just, I know their coach. He has been so successful everywhere he's gone. He's got a quarterback coming out of Texas A&M that is a top quality quarterback. And he does such a great job of building football programs, and I like where he is right now. So I favor Houston game.
Coach, you mentioned Texas A&M. Sorry, Scott, I was just going to say about the Texas A&M. I guess I'm so excited about the A&M. I'm so excited about the A&M game for tomorrow against Missouri, Coach.
Oh, that's a great one.
I tell you what, if A&M have one sort of, and I don't need to tell you, but you can run the ball on these guys a bit. And you know that Missouri like to run the ball as much as any team next to a military academy. They put up 238 yards a game on the ground. And I wanted your take on the quarterback situation. I like Bo Prabula, hell of an athlete. You could tell he's that blue chip type player. But Zollers can throw the ball, Coach, son of a big time recruit and son of a coach. Came in against Vanderbilt, a hostile environment, started throwing the ball around.
Yeah,
I feel confident in the kid quarterback, Coach.
Well, he got hurt. He's not able to play this game. Prabula got hurt. They ruled him unable to play. They're now having to go with their third quarterback at Missouri. A freshman quarterback's having to play in this game. And that's why, and I love Missouri. I love the way Prabula played. In fact, Sam Horn before him, really, they had 2 starters. Both have been knocked out now for the year.
But he must pass challenge Bo Prabula, Coach, right? He was still raw throwing the football. So, great athlete. I'm just saying, I think they can survive without him.
Well, no, the problem is you're playing Texas A&M, the only undefeated team in the SEC, a team that scored over 40 points 5 times this year, a team that leads the nation in sacks. And what it is, when you put in a third quarterback, I mean, when you go down to your third, this guy, he might not be able to run all your offense. He's a good player. I just think if Missouri's going to, and I'm not counting on them, when I think Texas A&M is going to carry the thing because they're one of the top teams in the conference. And Missouri, like you say, playing their third quarterback in this football game. But Ahmad Hardy may be the key, the running back that they got out of ULM, where I used to coach. They've got the transfer running back that's one of the top running backs in the country. If they can rely on him and get the yardage out of him and protect that quarterback, because he's going to have a more of a limited a little bit of the offense, because I really have a hard time. You can't ever get a third team quarterback completely ready to play, and that's kind of where they are right now. But I will say is they're a great football team. They'll play very good defense. The problem is you got Texas A&M probably playing as good as anybody in the SEC right now.
I love you got the Warhawk reference in there, huh? Go Hawks.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, I promise you, all we're doing at ULM is training them and getting ready to play somewhere else. And NIL gets them right out of there.
Yeah. How about Big Ten? Got a pretty good one. 2 great defenses. Oregon laying 6.5 at Iowa.
Oh, I tell you, this one's kind of a neat one because, Oregon's powerful. Dominant on defense. They're productive on offense. But, Iowa gets hot in November. In the last 23 games Iowa has played in the month of November, they're 21-2. And at home they're 14-3 in November. They're a running team. They play defense and they run the football. And you know what? I think they're going to cover. I'm going to take Iowa in the points. I think Oregon's a better football team. But late in November, when it's cold or when it's Iowa weather, the wind's blowing, and the way Iowa plays to slow the game down, I'm going to take the underdog this time and the points. Give me the points on Iowa because they have shown a great deal of ability, and they've got an outstanding defense. So Iowa is a better football team every year by the time they get to November. That's why the coach has been there so long. He runs the football, he plays defense, and towards the end of the year, that's what wins ball games.
You make me feel better now, Coach, because I like Mizzou. I like Mizzou to win, but I also have an upset special with Iowa. So
I like Iowa.
Coach. You're on the same side here. You know, Iowa have scored 37 or more points in 4 of their last 6 games.
I think people don't realize, although they run the ball a lot, they like to run it, and they almost never have a dynamic, exciting quarterback. They score points. And again, you win football games, or you have a long-lasting career. You have a team that's always getting you that great if they can play great defense and run the football, because that's always there for you. And again, Kirk Ferentz, that's kind of why he has been around so long and continues just to be amazing. He's one of the old guys in college football right now.
A good one in the Big 12. BYU getting 10.5 at Texas Tech. How do you see that one?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, BYU is the only undefeated team right now. These are the top 2 teams. This is really the elite of the Big 12. And Texas Tech is probably more explosive, probably the better defense. I think their defensive front will make them the better football team of these 2 teams. But BYU, they're undefeated. They find a way to win. And they play pretty good defense, too. Texas Tech proved they're human. They got knocked off by Arizona State 26-22. So, really, because of BYU and the way they're playing, I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with the points. I think Texas Tech may win this game, but I like BYU and the points in this football game.
Last one real quickly, Penn State and Indiana.
You know what? Kurt Cignetti hates being number 2. Ohio State beat Penn State by 24. He'll win by 25. He'll win by 26.
He knows the score, huh, Coach?
He wants to score one more point than Ohio State because he don't like being number 2. He wants to be number 1, and you know he lays points on people. I really think if he can score 50, he'll score 50, and we've seen that over and over. But I would take him to cover in this one because he wants to come out of this game saying people say he's better than Ohio State against that team.
Yeah. They're begging to take Penn State, but man, don't fall for it. I like that as well. Coach, check them out. It's the Mountain Blitz right here on SportsGrid. Thanks, Coach. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, you know, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
You know what that music means. Time to take out the pad and pencils, get set for the fastest and, more importantly, most profitable 5 minutes in television, Opposite Picks. What are Opposite Picks, you newbies ask? Well, we give you 7 games, 7,000 reasons why we like one team, and then we go opposite. Why? Because despite all the stats, trends, hunches, injury reports, weather reports, systems, and everything else, nobody beats the boys in Vegas. Second straight winning week, so we're back on the winning side of things here with a 4-3 last week. Still got a ways to go before we get to the Mendoza line, but we've got time, folks. Week number 11, first of our 7-pack. How about Indiana laying 14.5 at Penn State? Lots happened in the last 10 weeks, right? Penn State loses to Oregon in overtime. Then they end up firing their head coach. They lost the redemption game last week at Ohio State. There's nothing left in the tank for this team, folks. That's why that line's as high as it is. IU 20-2 straight up, 17-5 against the spread under head coach Curt Cignetti, and Penn State's 1-8 against the spread their last 9 games. They're begging to take Penn State. Don't fall for it, folks. Love Indiana here. Give me Penn State plus the 14.5. Pick number 2, BYU getting 10.5 at Texas Tech. Great game, BYU. All they do is cover and win, folks. 19-2 straight up run, 7-2 against the spread run, 9-2 straight up, 8-3 against the spread on the road run. Tech is terrific, right? But you know what? Really, after those first few games, it's been a struggle for them to get the wins. Maybe they win, but they're not beating BYU by double digits. Love the Cougars here. Give me Texas Tech laying to 10.5. Pick number 3, Boston College getting 11.5 against SMU. Tell the little lady, forget about making lunch today. I already got a big-time sandwich game on my plate. SMU beating Miami last week, their biggest win since the Pony Express days. They got nationally ranked Louisville next week. You know what makes this game against god-awful Boston College? The sandwich game. Don't ask how, but somehow or another, you watch. BC covers the spread. Love the Eagles here. Give me SMU. Give me SMU laying the 11.5. Pick number 4, Jacksonville State getting 1.5 at UTEP. The boys in Vegas' dyslexia is kicking in again. They got it backwards. Wrong team is favored. It's Jacksonville State's at 5-3. UTEP only 2-6. J-State 4-0 in conference play. UTEP only 1-3. J-State 4-1 its last 5. UTEP 3-11 their last 14 home games. Plus UTEP sucks. They're 2-16 straight up, 4-14 against the spread as conference dogs. Love everything points to Jacksonville State. Give me UTEP minus the 1.5. Pick number 5, Oregon laying 6.5 against Iowa. Oregon is impossible to beat on the road, folks. 10 straight road victories. Ducks have to win out to make the playoffs. They know that. They're not going to fool around. 5-1 against the spread as road favorites of 8 points or less, so they win all these close games. They got the number 9 offense in the country, averaging nearly over 500 yards a game. They get the win. They get the cover over Iowa. Give me Iowa plus the 6.5. Pick number 6, Auburn getting 6.5 at Vandy. Our favorite college betting system is back in play. The coaches fired system. All it does is win. You bet on the team the next game after they fired their head coach. Auburn fired Hugh Freeze last week. The system so far this year, 8-1 against the spread. 8-1. Love Auburn here. Give me Vandy minus the 6.5. Pick number 7, UNLV laying only 4.5 at Colorado State. How bad is Colorado State? They're the one team that didn't cover in the coaches fired system this year. That's how bad they are. They're 2-6, coming off a bye week, which generally is good, but not for bad teams. That just tells these kids, gives them an extra week to figure out where they're going. They're not going to stay there. They're all over the place. The last thing they're worried about is playing a college football game right now. UNLV has won 11 of its last 13 games. Obviously dating back to last year, including 6-2 this year. I mean, you'd have to be the biggest dumbass, dunce, thicko, wacko, nutcase, dumbbell, goon, schlup, nincompoop, ratbag, simpleton, madman, nutcase, crackpot, jackass in the world to put American money on this Colorado State team. The Colorado State was 4.5. Opposite picks, week number 11. Good luck, folks.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, you know, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So the show must go on, even if it does cost you. Nothing stops opposite picks. So I say that just because Tulane in Memphis is 7-7 already. It's up to 65.
There's been an explosion of points here.
Yeah,
in all
I
these
know
games.
it, Gabe. I know it. Yeah. Houston State, Central Florida as
Well,
well.
if you
You're
knew,
right
you
about
would have
that.
bet it. I bet it before the game started.
I didn't know about the quarterback. I was waiting to see.
Yeah, this guy doesn't. The world doesn't work that way.
Quarterback.
That's like saying
play.
I'm going to buy a stock tomorrow, but let me wait until 9:15 and see if it goes up or down before I buy it. You got to buy the stock before the game starts. Yeah,
You got to put finger in the button. Click.
He goes, I knew it. I'm like, you just said for the, I got to wait and see. And now you're like, wow, you knew it.
Well, I couldn't. I was doing the opposite picks. By the time I see 14 points in 3 minutes here.
I like it.
I was being real. I said before the game, I said the quarterback will play, he'll be fine, and everyone's freaking out about nothing. And But how about this, though? It's big points just popping up here. UCF and Houston was stuck at 3-0, 10-7 UCF now. So the total's back up to its closing number at 47.5 with 7.5 left. Northwestern just scored. USC scored on their first drive. Northwestern responded. But it ate up a lot of the quarter. So in-game total is 55.5. USC now laying 9.5 in a 7-7 game. Memphis scored, then Tulane scored. A 7-7 game there, as Scott said, 64.5. And for the hardcores, I missed out on this one, but Harvard is beating Columbia right now, 31-0.
They're killing them. Minus 37.5 live for the Crimson, 44.5 total, Morency. Yeah, so Tulane and Memphis, we expected that to be a really, really good game at 7-7. They just locked it up.
I'm going to jump in on this Ivy League game. I'm jumping in on the Ivy League game. I'm going to bet I'm betting under 44.5. Columbia is not going to score, and Harvard were up 28-0 at the half. They've only kicked a field goal. It's pretty clear they're taking the pedal off the metal. Let's go under 44.5.
Yeah, so even like a field goal, 34 touch, like 41-0 type of thing. Yeah, 44.5, and yeah, that looks pretty good, Gabe. I would actually, you know what? The more I think about that, that's a really good way of attacking that game. If the Lions don't score any points, it should stay under. NHL hockey,
that's
guys.
What I'm here for, Cam. Good advice.
That's good advice. Gabe, I told you, my turn 30 Pooches, Minnesota. They're up 5-2. I'm going to keep the train rolling. We look for plus money here on the show, guys, and I know it's the first period, but I'm going to take a small play on under 4.5, plus 136 on FanDuel, Chicago and Calgary. We really like Spencer Knight, and the Flames have been playing a little bit better, but scoring goals is kind of a problem. But I expect this to be like a 3-1 type of game. I don't think we can get 5 here. So, and that plus money at 40 cents is very attractive to me. So I'm going to take the under in Calgary, Chicago live, guys.
Connor Bedard with a shot on goal so far. Good stuff, Connor.
Already?
Good job.
Wow.
There's one.
Nice.
Yeah, there's one. Let's go, Connor.
Go, what do you need? 3? You need 3, 4, 3?
Yeah, he's had. We keep betting him. He's had 3 or more shots on goal in 9 straight games now.
No, he's playing a lot better, Gabe. That's true, and I'd expect the books to adjust that number even higher. But one thing about the Calgary Flames, Morency, you talked about it early in the season. They were horrible, but they're starting to come around. They're playing a little bit better right now. But that total to me, if you're going to give me plus money like that, as they just locked it, probably got a goal. But let's go to San Jose and Winnipeg. That game's coming up at 10:10. Guys, the San Jose Sharks have been really, really solid lately. Coming off that 6-1 win against the Seattle Kraken, plus 1.5. Is minus 152 and plus 162 sprinkle, Gabe. And I'm also going to take the under 6.5. Sharks to the under at home, over 5-0 in their last games on the road, but they play better defense at home. What are you guys saying?
Tulane just scored, so I don't want to throw it out. Tulane just scored again. It's 14-7 now.
Right down the field they went. Wow. I missed it. How about that 6.5, Cam? We were talking about that earlier. You don't see too many 6.5s with the Winnipeg Jets. Is Hellebuck playing tonight? Or is that just San Jose? They've scored 5 goals or more in half their games this year, Winnipeg, or San Jose. But you seem to think they play a little bit better defensively at home than they do on the road.
He is playing.
Yeah, he is playing. And it's also take a look at the statistics. It's not the 5.5. Take a look at San Jose. Their last 5 road games. I remember I came on the show with you guys. We just got there. It was 6, and they won 6-1 in the last game against Seattle. They are 5-0 to the over on the road. But take a look at their last at their home games. 3-2, always under the number. 6.5 seems like a lot. Eventually, the trend's not going to go perfect forever. But Winnipeg played their last game, and they beat the LA Kings 3-0. So San Jose, I'm not sure if they want to get into a track meet. What does Winnipeg want to do in this game? Do they want to, play aggressively? I'm not so sure about that. I'm just going to say at 6.5, I will take the under in this game. And you know me, Scott, Gabe, I'm not all trends, but this the San Jose trend. All they do is go on the road and have 11 goals in a game, and at home they kind of buckle down. They're the opposite. So I will take the San Jose Sharks plus 1.5 and under 6.5 tonight. Hopefully we get good goaltending. The guy in net for the Sharks could be hot and cold.
All right, FanDuel the 4-letter network posted 2-0 Chicago with Bedard scoring a goal. I don't know if they just effed up or not, but Bertuzzi's got 1. It is 1-0. All right, so they must have effed up then. All right, so 1-0 Chicago there.
What's wild, man, Bertuzzi, super hot. He actually had a hat trick the other night against the Vancouver Canucks. And Bedard set him up, too, so Bedard gets the assist. Like I said, Bedard is hell-bent on trying to make Team Canada. I think he privately wants to make it, but I don't think it's defining him actually as much as a lot of us make it out to be, more so. But it's already started. Like the rosters and the potential rosters keep popping up everywhere, and Celebrini keeps getting the nod over Bedard right now. But Connor really is playing some good hockey. Like like unselfish hockey, the vision, the puck strength, like just everything. This kid is really in a couple of years, man, he's going to be really, really, really scary. And hopefully he's a Vancouver Canuck.
It's funny,
he's from Vancouver. We'll see. Like when you can't leave.
Yeah.
In hockey, you're effing stuck, man. Like he's stuck there until 2029 type thing. Like he really is. There's no he can't even think about leaving yet. He could bitch and want to leave, but he doesn't. I'm just stating, we'll see. Will they be able to keep him when he becomes a free agent?
I just find it hilarious too how Bertuzzi leaves the Leafs and now he's absolutely amazing for Chicago. It's just one of those things. Where was this? Anyway, that's just
but you know what? It's one of these deals, Cam, where Bertuzzi suddenly is scoring. So Bertuzzi suddenly has 4 goals in 2 games. Why is this? Because he's on the ice with Connor Bedard.
Yeah, it helps. Yep, big time.
Right,
big time.
And when you're on Austin Matthews is the Leafs' best player. Austin Matthews doesn't make anyone else around him better. Austin Matthews will score 55 goals, but he's not going to set you up. He's not going to make you better, right? You make him better. When you're on the ice with him, he scores type of thing. When you're on the ice with Connor Bedard, you can score, right? He'll set you up and put you in a good spot to score. So Bertuzzi's reaping the benefits of playing with Connor Bedard. Great players make others better, right? That's the saying.
It's true. It's true.
My house is burning down system is getting burnt to the ground. Unfreaking believable.
What, they blew the lead?
Miami.
What is it? My house is burning down system. What's that system?
Eric Spoelstra's house burned down last night.
Made a match?
Yeah, no, his house burned down last night. So I figured the team would be rallying, and they did. They led by 22 against the worst team this side of the
football. That's your angle? The guy's house burned down, and you're betting on them? Scott, I'm not sure that one. I can understand.
Wetzel has a lot of angles, Cam.
The poor guy.
You could write a book of your angles.
Poor guy. Yeah. I mean, how can't they come out flying?
So, okay, Wetzel. So, we're in a court. His house burnt down last night, and they're going to rally around. How about you're sad? You've lost all your possessions. You might have had photo albums there. I just
Yeah, I would actually think it would be more of a distraction, and he actually wouldn't care about it getting against Charlotte. He'd be like, I don't care, man. My house just burnt down. I got to go back and call the insurance company. Let's get this game over with.
That's why the players got to step up and win one for the giver.
I can tell you one that if I lost my house and all my treasured memorabilia and stuff like that, I wouldn't be too happy about playing Charlotte. I'm with Gabe in this one. That's crazy talk.
I understand, but the players got to pick up the slack. Thanks, Tim.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, You didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe talking with our good buddy Cam Stewart. One last thing on the house burned down system. So I don't know if you guys saw it, and I don't know if you can really see it here. But so they got a picture in the New York Post of this poor guy's house burning down, right? So I don't know if you could see, but do you notice something right? Where am I? Over there. His whole house is all burnt down, right? The tops are all burnt off, but there's a skeleton hanging. I don't know if it's a ghost or if it's hanging from a tree, but it's right over a roof. And I'm like, am I the only one that noticed that? How in the world this whole house got engulfed in flames, yet this skeleton is there? Kind of goofy, no? That's one more reason.
It is Halloween. Halloween. I guess he didn't take it down.
No, but it's hanging right over the roof where the roof was. So if the roof was in flames, how did the skeleton not burn up? There's not even like charcoal. It's as white can be, it looks like.
Scott, I'm not a fire investigator, but it was probably made out of some kind of carbon that's pretty good against fire. I don't know. I watch a lot of murder mysteries, but that one's on you.
Yeah. This looks like one of these alien pictures or UFO pictures. I don't see any skeleton personally. I don't see any skeleton. I'm looking here
Google it. It's there. It's as clear as day. It's there.
Right. The skeleton's still intact.
Think about these things. The whole house is burnt down, and here's this skeleton hanging from a tree. How did the tree not?
I gotta tell you, that was quite the effing fire, man. It's blinding even in the photograph.
Yeah, I mean that whole
what was
thing,
the cause?
They don't know.
Responded to primary residence threatened.
Fortunately, no one was home, but
probably bad electrical. Yeah,
five bedroom, 6 bathroom home he bought 2 years ago for $6.6 million. 11,000 square foot property. Includes a backyard pool and a basketball court.
I mean, gone.
Court, I like this. I like it. In Florida, everybody knows everything. County documents. You got to have county documents. County documents indicate Spelster recently completed major renovations, including replacing windows, doors, and wall panels. Oh, son of a bitch. He must be pissed. He just renovated. Which, well, you can't make this up. He actually just put in with impact-resistant materials at a cost of $200 million. Past summer, permits were filed to replace the home's concrete tile. Sounds like this guy just went all out on his new house here.
I'm not sure about this contractor, Dave. He's hiring like an indestructible house yet, like some electrical.
There's no way they're losing tonight. There's no way they're losing. No.
Are you still on this? Are you still on the Arsenal angle?
I don't want to spite you, Scott, but I almost feel that they're going to lose tonight. The guy's house just burnt down. What's going well for him? Nothing. But they are up by 5. If it wasn't Charlotte, I'd take someone else just to be the devil's advocate here, but I can't take Charlotte. There was a story tonight, too, about LaMelo Ball, and they were like, all these scouts and teams were like, this guy just doesn't care. They're like, yeah, he makes nice plays, but he does not care about winning or losing. It's about, can he be traded? Or not. So, all right, USC just picked them off. They got a turnover, and here comes Maiva. First and goal, USC Trojans right now. It might be 2nd and 2 or whatever, but they just ran the ball inside the 8-yard line.
Central Florida scored again. So much, not that I had
this game went from 3-0 to exploded, man.
We got 4
I have the over. I was worried about it. Remember, we said it was down to 37.5 at one point. I was like, well, I'm done there, man. Where are the points coming from? I did say, though, remember my exact words. I said Houston score in spurts when they have to.
Yeah.
They're weird. Like, they won't score for like 10, 20 minutes. You'll watch the game for an hour, and you'll be like, God, it's like the Broncos or something. It's like, God, this team, man, is frustrating. And then boom, boom, you're like, oh, man, they just scored, huh? Like, they'll bang off a couple of quick touchdowns, and then they'll have 3 bad drives, and they'll bang off a touchdown. Like, they're kind of inconsistent, but the end result kind of gets there. As far as the totals, like I said, they're 6-3 to the over on the season. But I talked about some of the games I like. I'll bang off my Dean's list here. A stat guys and a prop I've been bringing up all year long, kind of for a year and a half now, actually, is the Georgia Bulldogs in the first half. They're now 1-14 against the spread in their last 15 games in the first half. They're 5-point favorites right now against Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State plus the 5 in the first half. This one's for our boy Chris Kofsky, Temple Owls and Army. Let's go over to 45.5, man. If people aren't paying attention, Temple are quietly going over every week, right? They're 7-2 to the over. This team puts points up on the board. Army somehow is 2-6 to the under, or 6-2 to the under. But it's weird. They can actually score. They've had some higher totals. You get those military games and stuff like that. So I think this total's far too light at 45.5. Let's go Temple and Army over. This one's almost personal, and this one's for our boy. We got to pick for Kofsky. We got to pick for our boy Vinny here. Are you Rutgers? They might screw me over with my over 5.5, Scott, but I'm going down swinging, bro. They need this game to make a bowl. They need it. Maryland sucked. They've lost 4 in a row. Rutgers, you keep losing these heartbreakers to good teams and stuff, and now you got blown out. Rutgers wins this effing football game tomorrow. Minus 140 money line. Now I get cocky. Missouri plus 210 money line. And we love Coach Bowden, but yes, I'm aware that Bo Prabula is out. So give me Missouri plus 210. Give me Iowa. Give me Iowa plus 210 on the money line. And, I'm not leaving out the UCLA Bruins here, baby. UCLA Bruins plus 1, Raiola out. Your Huskers, actually, Wetzel. What are you thinking about that? I think UCLA beats them.
I'm glad. You know what? He sucks. He's awful. If it wasn't for his dad, he'd be a nice guy.
What Scott is. Hey, Cam, glad he's out.
He's awful. He's awful. Throw him in there with Adrian Martinez, overhyped, blowhard quarterbacks who just don't win at Nebraska. So you know what? It's addition by subtraction for me.
I like him better more than you do, even.
Wow, that's some harsh criticism.
He's awful.
He's annoying, and he's a Mahomes wannabe, but he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's all right, man. And Adrian Martinez, I'll say one thing. The guy should have been a boxer or an MMA fighter. He took a licking, that guy. Like, he got absolutely murdered and came back for more. Can't say he's not tough, guys. That's all. I'll give him a little bit.
He's on an NFL roster somewhere or a practice squad. I remember that. So,
you know what, Scott? You wouldn't believe it. He actually won a UFL championship. On a good team in Birmingham. Like, he rejuvenated his career with a stout. He was better with K-State than he was Nebraska. Kind of like players leaving the Leafs. People leave Nebraska, they get better.
Shot on the way out.
You brought...
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think if you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in, Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz, only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Fast 2 hours in the books. Thanks again to Cam Stewart. It'll be Cam and Gabe tomorrow at noon. Then me and Joe Ranieri follow them up at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So opening pickoffs, okay, doing okay here. We got Houston. The Central Florida did just score, but they're in the game, laying 1.5 points. I got Minnesota. They're whacking Utah up by about 40, literally. So that looks like it's going to be a winner, laying 12.5. Got the Miami play. They were winning big, but at least they're back on top by 5-7 points now against Charlotte. And then later on tonight, Gabe, I got Sacramento plus 11 against OKC. I'll throw out a couple of college basketball. These are our system plays. We bet the overs or unders on certain teams, the whole formula. Just rely on the formula. Let's go over 149.5 UIC Oregon State, which was a monster over team last 2 years, were the Beavers. We're going to go under 150.5 Pepperdine UCLA, and then we're going to go under 145.5 Chattanooga at St. Mary's. St. Mary's and UCLA monster under teams the last 2 seasons. So over on the Oregon State game, under on the UCLA and St. Mary's game. How are your picks?
We just pulled the trigger on an in-game here with we took over 58.5 in nice. Northwestern and USC. They're at 21 right now. There's 10 minutes and 42 seconds left in the second quarter still, so we're already at 21. And Northwestern are running the ball, and they're moving the ball on USC. We'll see if they're able to finish their drives. Ultimately, I don't think they're going to keep up with USC because USC will score touchdowns, and Northwestern's probably going to kick a couple of field goals as we go along here. But USC's offense is not going to get stopped. Right, they've already got 14 points. They're going to score at least one more touchdown before this is over here. And here's another catch for Northwestern. So let's go over 58.5 in game here. Northwestern, when you consider the total close at 54, and we're already at 21 points right now, and the total's 58.5, it's not that much of an adjustment actually, right? It's not that far off the original number, and the game is playing the way that we thought it would. So let's keep the points coming here in this football game. Now, what's the in-game total now in this Memphis game that we're 14-14? 68.5.
Yeah, that's going through the roof. I don't think either team is stopping. This might be one of those games like the other day. Maybe it slows down second half, but I don't think so with these two teams. Memphis, I was really surprised it was 53.5. Maybe they didn't think the kid kid was going to play, the Lewis kid, but he's in there. Both teams are moving the ball, so 70 points is a lot of points, but you got the entire second quarter. I mean, you just started. First play of the second quarter was a touchdown run. So that probably did, it's got 35-30 written all over it. Well, actually, you need more than that. 45-40, I guess it would be. Interesting to see the card tomorrow, Gabe, with the college football. The BYU Texas Tech one, as we talked about, I think that, the loser is in a lot of trouble when it comes to getting in that large bid. I don't think the Big 12 is going to get to. I really don't. You're going to have to win that conference, which kind of makes that game almost meaningless for BYU because they're undefeated. They have a loss to give and still be in the conference championship game. But that should be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm not going to write
decent slate.
It's some big time games tomorrow. Like Coach said, we're sort of in these elimination games, right? BYU, Texas Tech, big time game. Texas A&M haven't lost yet. I think they're going to against Missouri. Oregon's getting another loss would be real tough for them with 2 losses, and they still have USC, and they got Washington coming up still. And They're all these sort of like a Pac-12 ending to the season, which is pretty cool. Tomorrow we got the CFL playoffs as well. So we're down to the Final Four. Here's a big run for Northwestern, actually. Big run.
Wow.
Down to the 1 yard line. So from the 50 to the 2 or 3 or 1 yard or whatever. Yeah, boom. We just told you over 58.5, and it looks like we're going to get another touchdown here. But, man, the steam is coming in on the Montreal Alouettes right now. They're up to minus 180 on the money line against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Like the Montreal Alouettes in this game tomorrow, although you're going to have to play the money line, guys. Don't lay 4 on the road here. But Montreal beats Hamilton. It goes over 53.5, and BC and Saskatchewan is going to be super close. I keep coming back to like a 28-27 type of crazy game, 1 point, 2 point game. So give me the BC Lions plus the 3, and we will bet the over. But I don't think it's a track meet. I think it'll just sort of barely get over the number. I think Montreal and Hamilton will be a higher scoring game. Touchdown Northwestern. They did the tush push.
Wow. How about that? 14-14. Keep the points coming. But you're right. I don't think USC is going to, or I don't think Northwestern will I thought Northwestern might hang with them if it was a lower scoring game. But if it's a higher scoring game, then you got to figure, 45-21. Eventually, USC will kind of.
Yeah, it's
away.
tough to trade. Like, if you're Northwestern, you feel good about yourself right now. But it's like, it's tough to trade touchdowns with the Trojans all night.
Yeah. Game is back tomorrow noon Eastern time. I'll be back tomorrow 3 o'clock Eastern time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, folks.